Hi, my name is Dale Johnson, and I like to make things. And this is the game I've been working on lately, Another Star. It's kind of an NES Master System style RPG. And part of the idea was, well, let's try to make a game that you can only fit into 256 8x8 tiles, so pretty much all the graphics in the game are compressed into this one little 128 by 128 pixel image. And the tiles can be flipped but not rotated, kind of like the NES and Master System 8-bit hardware. So let's just take a look at it and see how it plays. And you'll see this very Legend of Zelda style starting screen. And here I've got a save all set to go. Not going to start from the very beginning, but very close. And here I start. This is where you start the game pretty much. And like I said, I've already got things kind of started and set into motion. I'm playing with the gamepad here. Just to let you know, that is an option. You can play with the keyboard or the gamepad. And your standard RPG menu system. Let's check our status real quick. Whoops. You'll see I've already got his first spell, and that little bar next to the spell Fireball. As you use them, they'll eventually level up your spells. They'll become more powerful, so you want to use them after you get them, so that they'll become more powerful later on down the road when you need them even more. I mean, you can get away with not using them at all, pretty much, but it's going to be a little bit easier for you. And I've already got my second character. And they're all set and ready to go. So, let's go have an adventure. You'll notice, as I move around the world, the screen will shift to show the next map, and this little exclamation point will pop up over my head. Tachi's head there. And if it pops up and I push the select button, as the game calls it, which on this gamepad is A, I'm playing with the Xbox 360 controller, it'll initiate a battle. And we have our kind of standard fight magic item, Flea. But you'll notice when I hit fight here, it doesn't let me select who I'm going to fight. I automatically fight everybody. These are just weak enemies here. I'm already leveled up to the point where I can knock these guys out in about a hit. So there's not really any targeting. You always attack everybody, so battles go pretty quickly. And you might be wondering, okay, well then, what's the point of that? Well, the thing is, different enemies will have different weaknesses, and different enemies have different abilities. So you'll want to pay attention, okay, this enemy is using this ability, but its weakness is another enemy's strength. So you might need to decide, okay, who am I going to defeat first? And because you can't target just one character, you've got to think, okay, this attack is going to hit everybody. Am I ready for that? And of course the enemies will do the same thing. Notice this wild rat has hit both my characters. And we'll use Fireball here. And notice that Tachi was the only one to attack that time. Normally all your characters will attack, but when you use an ability or an item, then only that character is going to be the one who's going to attack. So it's kind of a trade-off, okay? Do I want to use this more powerful ability because he's going to be the only one to do it? And of course that also comes back. What if that character gets knocked out? And here, this enemy has used an ability against me, Dissolve. And it has regenerated the hit points that it stole, so these guys can be pretty tough, even at the earlier levels. But fortunately, you can see he's knocking my hit points down. Fortunately, it's weak to Fireball. Oh, and level up. You'll notice my hit point is getting kind of down there. You regenerate a little bit of hit points after battle, but not a whole lot. So, let's go back to this town here. And you notice, in order to save tiles, I've only got so many to use. The cities here are kind of very menu-based. And I'm going to go to the tavern, which is basically just the inn. And it regenerates my hit points. The summon is if one of your characters gets knocked out. News basically replaces, instead of going around to each town and getting information from the NPCs, you just click news and figure out what they've got to say. Let's go ahead and see what they have to say. And they're mentioning a character that you might see later on. Maybe. Who knows? And of course, you've also got your standard shop, and you can buy items. Items are fairly important in this game because of the way that you target everybody. And of course, you can sell your items. We're not going to buy anything today. I've already got some of my healing items. That's basically, in this game, the only way you can heal. Because when I select magic, notice how it takes hit points instead of magic points in order to cast. So this is another thing you've got to keep in mind. Okay, if I use this ability, it's going to take some of my hit points off. And if you don't have enough hit points when your turn comes up in battle and you've already selected to do that, then you lose your turn, basically. And as your abilities become more powerful, they are going to take more hit points. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I'm going to head over here. Whoa! You notice for a split second back there that I got the red exclamation point. When you get the red ones, you need to initiate the battle, or else it's going to be an ambush. Although you can get around that. If you walk off the screen, it'll nullify, and that was basically... Part of the reason for that is because each screen will have its own set of enemies, and I didn't want you to get an ambush of one screen. On one screen, you go into the other one, and then you get the tougher enemies. So... that might change, but right now it's not. Okay, here's the first dungeon in the game. We're not gonna... whoa! Notice I caught that. And these guys are easy to take out. Victory! You'll notice you get loot instead of gold. And basically the way the system works is loot you can't really do anything with, but when you go into town, you trade in your loot for gold. And when you've got loot... your gold, nothing's really going to happen to it unless you die. And if you die, you can spend some of your gold to revive and retry the battle, or go back to the nearest town you've been to. Or you can just give up and reload when you're safe. As you can see here, I can save anywhere. But loot, enemies can steal your loot, and there's all kinds of ways you can lose your loot. If you run from battle, you're going to lose loot. You won't lose gold, but you'll lose your loot. So you don't want to... when your loot starts getting big, you might want to consider running into town real quick and cashing it in for golds, just so you don't go around dropping it everywhere. Just kind of to demonstrate that, you can't flee on the first turn. And that's basically so you can't run into a dungeon that you're not ready for and try and get around the ambushes by accepting all the battles but then running from them. You kind of need to make sure you're at least strong enough to survive the first round. Okay, I'm gonna flee, and I drop some of my loot. And the more loot you have, the more you're gonna drop. I think it's up to half of it. You can, and we're just gonna explore around here a little bit. Not gonna do a whole lot. And you can use these in battle, just so you know. Sometimes items will have a different purpose in battle. Sometimes if you use them in battle, they'll do something different. And of course, it's an RPG, you've got treasure chests you can open. Silver Bell. This will let me revive anybody who's fallen in battle, but only outside of battle. Sort my inventory so that it's closer up to the top. And you'll notice I've got two ways to go here. I can go either right or left. And most dungeons are like that. You've got multiple paths through the dungeon. And it's not a linear multiple path, as in, okay, you go both ways, but one way is treasure and the other way is the right path. There's usually different things on both paths. And sometimes you might find an NPC in a dungeon, and they might have a side quest or some other minor world building. So, it's usually a good thing to explore around a little. Whoops, wrong button. Now I'm just going to go up here real quick, show off something. And I'm probably not leveled up quite enough for some of these battles. Yeah, Tachi's about to fall. Well, he might survive. Oh, what do you know? Yeah, we got some experience too. Okay. Up here, this little sparkling thing, this is a mini-boss. Each dungeon will have several of these, and they're usually kind of guarding a treasure. And I know that the mini-boss is, so I'm not going to deal with him because I know he's probably going to kill me. And an interesting thing about the mini-bosses you can run away from, most of them. So if you go in, the mini-bosses are usually going to be harder versions of the monsters you're already encountering. If you go in and you think you're ready, but you're not, after the first round, like any other battle, you can run away. So, I'm going to get out of here. This item, the magic mirror, will let me warp back to the beginning of the dungeon. I'm going to explore a little bit. This game's a lot kind of like the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. There's a lot of secrets to find, and a lot of the equipment you get is hidden in the world. So you might explore, and you might find a town that sells some good stuff, or you might just find something that was hidden. I can run to that town for the tavern, but I'm just going to waste my items. I'm not really worried about it. It seems strange to me that there's this island down here with a bridge to it. Why would you need a bridge to this island? Oh, what have we here? Ooh. And there's some more stuff over that way. I can get some more treasure if I wanted to. And you notice I'm ignoring the battles. I'm just exploring. There's no reason for me to bother with the battles and worry about leveling up right now if all I want to do is look around. Unless it's an ambush, and then I can just fight those. Just kind of look around. So the game, I tried to make a pretty good balance of fighting battles and being able to just look around. I didn't want a random battle system where just looking around you just keep getting pestered time after time. So hopefully that'll make exploring quite a bit more fun, especially with as many secrets as I've tried to pack into the game. So keep your eyes open. There's usually hints as to what you can do to find some really neat stuff in this game. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this gameplay preview, and hopefully you're going to look forward to another star when it's released. And I'm hoping to have it sometime mid to end July, maybe into August. Depends on how long this takes. We'll see. So, until that time, I hope you keep following the progress of the game, check out the website, and maybe I'll do another one of these gameplay previews. And see you around. Dale out.